Hey there, it's Dr. Tracy, and it is March 1st of 2024. I cannot believe it's already March. This year is flying by. Wanted to share some insight just about my own journey post-layoff and how things are going. And I wanted to start out, one of the thoughts I had before I jumped on here was I had the visual of, it's probably not the greatest visual, but I think in Homer Simpson and his job in the the manufacturing plant, it wasn't a manufacturing, it was in the plant he was in. I believe they had the sign, and they have them in most signs. Manufacturing is what I think of how many days since the last accident or the last safety violation or something like that. And why I thought of that was I was thinking in my mind of how often do you think about going back to a corporate job or a 9 to 5 job or whatever that might look like. And I thought, oh my gosh, it feels like it fluctuates. There are moments like I'm in now where it has been a while, quite a while since I even posted for anything or thought about posting for anything, because I am doing really well in what I'm doing with my own business, and I'll get to that here shortly. And then there are other times where something catches my eye, or I just start scrolling into the jobs, or somebody brings one up and it strikes a chord, and I think about it and I post for it. But again, it's been a while since I've done that, and that's okay. In the beginning, when I decided, towards the end of November, beginning of December, officially, I'm going to give this at least 4 months minimum with my business, um, maybe a little bit longer, to see where I go with it and to be okay with that. So it's been a lot of up and down. So if you are someone who has been laid off, you know somebody that's been laid off, or you're just trying to figure things out in the post-layoff world, or even wondering what that might look like, that's kind of where I am with that. And it took a while to be okay with it. That's kind of getting back to it. At first, I was punishing myself because initially I was okay, I'm going to give myself this many months to really focus on my business. And then I kept getting distracted and focusing away of, oh, here's this job, here's this shiny object kind of thing, opportunity and stability and pay and, all of these things. And that's okay. We are human and we're allowed to do that. It's hard for any one person to focus on any one thing for a long period of time. I know, yes, there are people who do that. But to think about the opportunities, get frustrated with the challenges and things like that. So wanted to share a little bit more with you where I am today in my business. So I have more officially, I would say, January and February have been the start of my business versus December. December was a little bit crazy. It was kind of the launch of my stuff officially, and the Let's Talk About Layoffs, Navigating Careers of More community, and the Let's Talk About Layoffs podcast. And with the holidays and everything, it threw that off quite a bit. So even working on any kind of contract work that I had slowed down a lot because of the holidays. So if I'm thinking about just this year, 2024, January was kind of a tough month. Not kind of, it was a tough month. I struggled with my mindset a lot. Am I doing the right thing? Should I be here? Even looking at, jobs and going back and forth on whether this was the right thing. And, but the positive thing was I failed to remember a lot of times is that I was setting a foundation and setting myself up for such great things. And those great things are going to take time. Nothing happens overnight for sure. And so in January, I did a lot of that foundation building and building relationships, talking with individuals, looking at potential opportunities, whether it was to speak, anything like that. and sharing information. And I really went all in. In December, I was in a lot with my group and my community, but January and even more so in February, I was all in. Like, and I'm still all in. I love the members of the community and being able to support them and what they're doing and what they need. And I also find the need to speak more about my paid offers, my services and products that I offer, because sometimes I get so excited and so caught up in the free things and helping people, which is what I'm so passionate about, helping people in their career journey and kind of figuring out or preparing for that next step, that I failed to remember that I also need to make money. Which, wouldn't it be awesome if you could just do what you want to do and not have to worry about paying the bills, right? So in January, it was a slow, very, very slow income month. And that was thinking across not only my business and direct clients that I had, but also contract work. So in January, I was doing contract work. I had one contract client, let me say, that I do multiple candidates through. So resume writing, LinkedIn support, career coaching, different things like that. So I was working those. Um, it felt rather slow to even get through some of those. And maybe that's just bouncing back off the holidays for me and other people. Um, and then when I got into February, things really started to pick up. So more people are responding to things that have been pending. But it wasn't until the end of February, so that income is going to be more represented within March. I also was able to network, and I believe this was late January, early February at the latest, but had a great conversation with a guy named Bill, Bill, if you're listening, you are amazing and doing so many things to help so many people in their journey. And Bill and I had so much in common about what we're passionate about and what we're out to do in this world. And I was not, I don't know that I was not prepared. I was excited about him bringing up an opportunity for me to do additional contract coaching, career coaching through ProMark, which is, they have a section of ProMark does outplacement services. So companies who are laying off individuals can pay for, it could be different programs from like a 6-week term, 6 months, a year, like whatever that might look like, or 2 months or something like that. They can pay for the services of a career coach for the individuals who are getting laid off. And that's something that's negotiated and provided to those individuals, typically in a severance agreement. And so I talked to a couple other people with ProMark, make sure that was a right fit for me, that I was a right fit for them, and started doing some training. I already have almost 20 years of doing career coaching, informally and formally. So the training was more on the systems and kind of their way of supporting their candidates. And so I actually got my first candidate at the very end of February, reached out and talked to that person, and we should be meeting in the next week or so to talk about next steps. And at the end of February, in addition to that person, I talked to one other person, and these two people I talked to within days of them being laid off. It was either that day or like within 2 days of them being laid off from their company. And when I say talking to those individuals and feeling like I was completely 1,000% in the right place is almost an understatement. Like, that felt good to me to be able to support them and to hear them and to answer questions that they had, to help validate the feelings that they were having, um, help direct them. I don't know and don't claim to know everything about getting laid off. Yes, I have been, and I studied it, but there's so many different situations and scenarios of it. So I realized more so through those phone calls that this is the space that I'm meant to be in, to help people in this scenario, this experience, and then also that career development and the thought of, what do you want to do next? Like, do you want to stay in the area, the industry that you're in, the type of role that you're in? Is this potentially an opportunity to do something different, whether it's slightly different, completely different, like whatever that might be? Um, and so being able to help individuals, I want to be able to do that even more. Like, it just drove that passion in me of, how can I do more of this? But then there's also the balance on an entrepreneur perspective of, I need to pay the bills. I need to pay the bills. I want to be able to have money to do things for my husband, myself, our dogs, things like that, beyond just where we are today. And so it's figuring out, and it's a continuous process of figuring out, how do you find that balance? And so there are a few things that I'm looking into for the business, to help support me in that, because most of the time, even individuals who have been laid off, there are so many that they may not have severance. They may have a very minimum amount of severance. They may already be living paycheck to paycheck, and there's a lot of individuals that need the support and the help. They want it. They're eager for it, and they can't pay for it. And I want to be able to support those individuals, as well as individuals who want to do they most of the time, the individuals that I come across in my own direct clients are mid-level professionals who may not want that executive, that director, that VP seat. Some do, but they may not, but they desire something different. Like, it's almost like a feeling of being stuck, and they want to figure out, like, what's next for me. Like, for so many years, even me in my career, like, I had a goal of, like, what was next or where I wanted to go in my career. And when you get to a certain point in your career, or in the organization you're in, or the industry you're in, you almost feel like, I don't know what's next. I don't know what this looks like. And you don't see enough people and what their journey is, or even idea of what the possibilities are, the opportunities, to even think about, what you could do from there. So I am definitely looking into some more things to help with the funding nature of that, so I can continue to help support individuals and support even more individuals in that, because that lights me up, and I know that's so supportive and helpful for the individuals as well. The other thing that I have been very successful in, and I'm so excited about, is getting attention to speak or to write, for different forums where the individuals that I help are in. And so one of these, I got a request from I would say it's a popular magazine. It's actually a paper magazine and online version, in a particular industry. And they reached out for me, asking me if I would write a 3-page article. about a topic that I had spoken at a conference. And at first, because I've seen a lot of different requests come in of, hey, you can pay like X thousands of dollars or $1,000 or whatever for a half page article or a little spiel in this magazine or something like that. And it's like, I don't know that that's the best use of my money at this point in time. Maybe at some other point in time, and maybe for other people, absolutely. But so my first question back was, how much does this cost? And the person came back and they're like, it doesn't cost anything. And you're not marketing yourself. You're sharing you're sharing value, and sharing insight and can help individuals. And I was like, absolutely, sign me up. So I'm working on that. It won't be coming out for quite a few months. We'll let you all know when that's available. I also was contacted, I can't remember if this was the beginning or end of last year, or beginning of this year. I was secured to be more of a motivational speaker, um, which I sound like I'm surprised when I say that, but it's like such an honor, at a conference in Orlando. And it is a different type of conference completely, for me. And it is, I could share that with you. That's going to be coming out, but people can still know now. But it is the Society for Histotechnology in Florida. And I will be speaking about, and you'll have to look up histotechnology. I've had to look it up a couple times just to make sure I continue to be clear about what it all is. But I'm going to be talking at that conference about early detection, my story of early detection of breast cancer, and how that impacted my life and led to, even greater leadership, and intertwining, aspects of leadership into, um, just how it changed my lens or my perspective of how I lived and who I was, and how supportive that type of work can be and how helpful what those individuals are doing for people's lives. So I'm super excited about that. That's coming up in the beginning of May. I was also asked recently if I would host a booth at the end of April at an in-person event here in Ohio, and that will be all about empowering women. And so I have ordered some things to have my own career coaching booth at that event. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm missing something. Oh, I'm going to be in as a bonus. So it's a VIP option to get my master class at a summit it's going to be in March. It's a couple weeks from now. So I just talked to the lead for that summit, and I'm super excited about that. And we're talking about how, I had chosen my journey from, corporate and being laid off, really turning that, um, trying to think, turning pain into purpose is kind of, what we were looking at for like the title of that. And from layoff to liftoff, and how I dove into, my entrepreneurial journey more full time for that. So those are a few. I think I have a couple other in the hopper, opportunities, different things that are coming up, and I'm really, really excited because I love getting out, and speaking with individuals, not only about my story and sharing that and sharing what I would say is the resilience, and that you can do whatever you want. Like, yes, you have to work to put things in place a lot of times, um, but we shouldn't be living our life in a job that doesn't make us look forward to getting up in the morning. Yes, we have to pay bills. Yes, there are needs that we have that job suffices, but what are you doing and what are you thinking about that are getting you in a direction of doing something that you do really enjoy? And how can I help you get there? So just wanted to share a little update, kind of the ups and downs, the challenges. I will say just a great thing about, um, February versus January is when I look at my income, and this is, I didn't start my second contract work until the end of February, no income from that yet. But February alone, between my direct clients and my contract work, which I had also in January, was 226% higher. Not enough for me to sustain right now, like not going back to a corporate job, but I also have given myself a runway of time to get up to that amount, and it's heading in a really good direction. And so I am really excited about the progress that's been made. And so another thing to think about too is when you don't feel like things are working out, think a little bit more, take a step back and think a little bit more about, are you doing the things to lay the foundation for you to catapult from there? Because that's something when I was in January, I was starting to feel really ugh and kind of yuck about where I was and that I wasn't doing enough. And then I'm starting to see the results in February, and I know this month in March is going to be even better. And I'm continuing to lay that groundwork so that the months ahead are even better as well. So I don't know in this time frame and this trajectory that I am going to hit what I desire to hit so that I'm not going back to a full-time job, but damn it, I'm trying my hardest. And I am loving every minute of it, and I'm loving the freedom. I'm loving the ability to help and support people, and it's a lot different lifestyle, just even stress-wise, than it was day to day doing the 9 to 5. So if you are looking for any support, maybe you have been laid off, maybe you know somebody who's been laid off, or you are looking for support in your career development and your career journey, I invite you to join me in the Facebook community. It is called Let's Talk About Layoffs, Navigating Careers and More, and would love to have you join us in the group. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.